The big news that broke last night was they have finally named the headline act for the upcoming Super Bowl 60, which is taking place at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. And it is Bad Bunny. If you have not heard of Bad Bunny, I don't blame you, but you would be wrong. You would be wrong to assume that this was purely a political move. I do believe that politics played a large role in his being chosen.
Like actual politics?
I believe that having it in social politics. Okay. I believe that having it in Northern California, having it during Trump's second presidency, when the conversation around immigration is at a high right now, clearly indicates that, and the fact that Jay-Z and Rock Nation are in charge of the music, for the headlining show, for the halftime at the Super Bowl, tells me that politics played a role in it in some way. At the very least, they want to make some type of statement on social issues. I will, however, push back and say that there is no precedent whatsoever for Bad Bunny being chosen. He has won 3 Grammys. He has won 11 Latin Grammys. For 3 years in a row, he was Spotify's #1 most streamed artist. He sells out all the time. He is an absolute... It was one of those things where I think I was like talking to Carter in his studio one day, and he had to tell me, this was like years ago, like early days of the company, and he had to tell me who he was and just how big of an artist he actually was. So I think this is the type of thing where, because entertainment is so decentralized now and people don't realize just how many artists there are. Have you ever seen these things, guys? You go on X and it's like, this artist just topped the Billboard charts, and you're like, who? Who is this person? I've never heard of them. Music has been very decentralized now because not everybody's listening to the radio anymore. Yep. You can essentially tailor your own playlist to whatever type of music you want. But it is not just for those reasons that it's been political. It is also political given the fact that Bad Bunny has come out multiple times against ICE and has even stopped running shows in the U.S. because he fears that his audience will be picked up by ICE at his concerts. I am going to first read to you actually, you know what? We'll play the clip here about what he said about ICE, and then we'll go through the Super Bowl announcement so you guys can understand where we come from.
My eyes could not roll any
I know.
harder.
Here we go.
I'm never performing in the U.S. again. I'm scared that ICE might raid the venue outside my show. And honestly, I can't risk the safety of my fans like that. Mainland America just doesn't feel necessary to me anymore.
Okay. You can't tell me at the Super Bowl, which is one of the most American events there is. Now, granted, it's not baseball, which I believe is the most truly American sport. You can't tell me that this decision didn't have some type of social agenda, aside from the fact that he is a huge artist. I don't buy that.
I've already performed there plenty of times. Fans in the U.S. have had lots of chances to see me live. That being said, I still care deeply about my Latino and Puerto Rican fans living in the States. Seeing me perform in Puerto Rico is always an option.
Okay.
It's God, I hate Puerto Rico is the United States. Well, he's schmuck.
So he also said this. This was his quote. He said, "What I'm feeling goes beyond myself. It's for those who came before me and ran countless yards so that I could come in and score a touchdown. This is for my people, my culture, and our history." So he made it political. He made it about identity politics, even in his statement about running the Super Bowl. Right? He said basically, I decided I'll do one American show. Remember, he stopped running shows in America.
Yeah.
He says, I guess I will run at least one American show. Here is the spot that they released for the announcement.
It's such a pose. Just LARPing.
Okay, so there's a 20 here from Brian Bledsoe, and he's right. He says, Bad Bunny's popularity in music is equivalent to soccer's popularity in sports. There's blinders in America because soccer is popular here, but not nearly to the level that it is in other countries. Have you ever heard people in America fight? Have you ever seen people on X fight with people about soccer and football, and people don't understand just how big football with a U is outside of the United States, right?
Yeah, I mean it's massive, and I understand it, but at the same time, like the audience for football is an American audience.
Yes.
Like, why put someone that's internationally really big, but in the U.S. is not the same? You know, I mean, maybe he's big in the U.S. Again, maybe he is. I don't know. I've heard the name. I don't. You know, I've never heard his music. Likely, if he sings a lot of Spanish, then
most of his songs are in Spanish.
Yeah, that's
most of his songs are in Spanish.
Big reason why I wouldn't watch his stuff, because I don't speak Spanish. I don't understand why they have a guy that's speaking Spanish being the artist that's performing at the halftime show.
That's the politics that I'm talking about there.
Yeah,
like you take one of the most American events you can possibly have, and you make your again happening in Northern California, and you make your political statement. Well, but the thing is, this is what people are talking about.
Jay-Z's such a loser.
You have to have a discussion. So this is what they're going to use. They're going to use it as a way to shift the narrative, which is that, well, it's not politics. He actually is huge, and that does make sense, but that is to say, are there not other artists who are also huge, who represent more of America?
It's in Northern California.
In ideas.
It should have been Metallica.
There you go.
It's in Northern California. It should have been Metallica. Yeah. Metallica's the biggest heavy band in the world. They go all over the world, and they sell out stadiums everywhere they go. Stadiums, right? Stadiums. When I played the show with them in LA a couple years back, it was sold out stadium. Like, why not Metallica, Jay-Z? Why not Metallica? Didn't he sample Metallica?
I don't know. Bad Bunny's global tour shatters tour records, sells over 2.6 million tickets.
Brian Bledsoe dropped a 20. Said Bad Bunny's popularity in. Oh, you already read that one.
Yep,
yeah.
read that one. He is that big. Look, this is what I'm talking about when I say that they've actually managed to find an artist where there's a viable reason they can point to his popularity. His last single went #1. He's had 4 #1 albums in a row in the U.S. So he hits #1. There's for every argument, you could say that he's got the right to do it. He has the pedigree. They didn't pick an artist nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, but it's not really the thing that your average football fan is
then
going to be
it's not about whether he has the pedigree. It's about whether it's actually the market for the audience, or whether it's them deciding this is what we want you to watch.
Yeah. JT Turbo says, as a Hispanic, I find it ironic that Bad Bunny is anti-ICE. His latest album has themes about how non-Puerto Ricans are invading and changing the island. I love Bad Bunny's music, but I hate his personal views. That's because he's an imbecile.
There you go.
The Puerto Ricans are Americans. Yep. They vote all the time. They want to be a state. Yep. It's Congress that said no, or it's Congress and the Senate. God, it's so exhausting. The Puerto Rico, they want to be a state, but they would never take down their Puerto Rican flag. Everywhere you go in the mainland where there's Puerto Ricans around, they're not flying the U.S. flag. They're flying the Puerto Rican flag. They're speaking Spanish. They're super proud of their Puerto Rican heritage. Exhausting.
I mean, it's one of the longest ongoing concerns in America, right? Is like there's so much multiculturalism that people, the way that people romanticize immigration in decades past was that people came from other countries excited to move here, fly the American flag because they held our ideals close to their heart. Whereas now people move to America even legally and sector themselves off because they're here for the opportunities that America affords them, but don't necessarily believe in America's core values at their heart. And I think that that's one of those things that allowed the immigration issue to kind of sneak up on people the way that it did, is people were still functioning under that idealized image of what immigration used to be in this country rather than what it is now. So here's a list of all of the artists that have hosted the halftime show all the way back to 2012. So this is what this is the other thing that I think. They mentioned Kendrick Lamar. I think what they want more than anything is they're looking for a cultural moment, meaning Rock Nation and the people that are going to be putting out the promo for this show, right? They want something that's going to have the discussion that came about from Kendrick Lamar last year, whether he was going to mention PDF file because of Drake, whether it was the commentary that people were having about white people co-signing Kendrick Lamar's music. Certainly the memes that came after the Super Bowl last year were hilarious, of like the white dudes and the fan. Like, that's what they're talking about, right? The white dudes and the fans were like, this is the greatest thing ever. As well as like even like his bell bottoms became a topic of discussion because he was wearing weird jeans. They're looking for something that's going to spark a discussion that's going to raise engagement and make them a ton of money, which this, of course, will. But these are the artists from the last however many years. Bad Bunny, Kendrick Lamar, Usher, Rihanna, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick. The Weeknd, Shakira, and J-Lo. If I remember correctly, too, Bad Bunny, he performed in the 2021 with Shakira and J-Lo because it was a Latin-themed performance as well. And then Maroon 5 in 2019, Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, Coldplay, Katy Perry, Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Madonna. Those are all heavy hitters as far as the music industry and cultural influence.
Yeah, and nothing like they're probably. I think the last rock performer was probably Creed in 2000.
Yeah, well, so the famous performance, if I remember correctly, the one that everybody attributes to the Super Bowl didn't happen at the Super Bowl. That's like one of those faux memories.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was at the Thanksgiving Day game, right, where the guy's flying on the ropes and he's singing. Yeah, they could have done Creed. If they wanted to do something. And other people were pointing out, I saw Josie, the redhead libertarian, was saying that Bad Bunny is demonic and they're doing this on purpose because we're having a Christian revival. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but they were never going to pick a Christian artist. That was never going to happen.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that it's about. I don't think that it gets religious. I don't think that Jay-Z and not Rihanna, but Jay-Z and Beyonce are actually demons or actually worshiping Satan. And I don't think that. I know there's a lot of people that like to use that language and like to say those things because there is a lot of focus being kind of put on religious people and the spiritual aspect of things. But I don't at all think that it's true.
So there were people that had criticisms of Bad Bunny for choosing to do this, despite the fact that he said that he was boycotting the U.S., right? Says, sorry, but not touring in the U.S. specifically because of the government and ICE, but agreeing to do the Super Bowl halftime show is a choice. People were pushing back. Somebody says, those who attend the Super Bowl are white people with money. It's not the same.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about just white people with money.
I know.
I think that's kind of ridiculous.
They don't do that because they have racial blinders on.
Yeah, well. But it's definitely people with money.
This person says, people don't go to the Super Bowl for the halftime show. Not performing in the U.S. to protect his fans, not himself. ICE could be there waiting for him at the end of his performance, and they can't do shit to him. He's an American citizen. All Puerto Ricans are. Yes, that's true. And it's definitely a political choice. If you ask me, it has everything to do with the state of the discussion of immigration in this country right now. And they want to make that statement in a way without being direct about it. And they're just kind of couching it in a language that they can hide behind. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.